Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I had this idea to just do like a hair update and let you guys know how this has like worked out for me, and like just kind of pick my brain a little bit on the color remover and the process, and if the hair color I did stayed or did it have a drastic fade, or what I did in the meantime to keep like the integrity of my hair and all of that. So usually you don't find this stuff online when people like do it. They kind of like tell you after the fact, like during it, like, oh, my hair fell out or I have such bad damage, but nobody tells you like after, like 3 weeks from now, did you have to recolor your hair like after you washed it out the first time? Did you, the fade, like, was it like intense? Like, how does your hair feel now? All that stuff. Nobody talks about that. So I figured I would, so that it can help someone else, because this is something that I always look for when looking on trying to take my hair color out. Like, I want to know the details of like the after. Like, is it worth it to me after the fact? So I'm gonna let you guys know like the stuff that I would have like the stuff that I would like to know. I'm gonna let you guys know. So if you're new and you didn't watch my last video, I'm just gonna give you like a rundown of like what I did and just kind of like play it out like from the start of me taking out my hair color to the now, like 3 weeks later. So I'm just gonna like play it like that. So anyways, I bought this from Sally's. It's the Matrixsocolor Color Eraser. I bought 4 packets because you never want to have a hair emergency. You always want to buy more than what you need for the just in case. Now, I have super thick hair. It might not be long or like super long. It's like a medium length, but I still have so much hair that you never know with a packet if you're going to need more. So I bought 4 and I only needed 2. 2 did my whole head perfectly, but I did mix up a 3rd packet after my whole head was done, just to make sure that I didn't miss anything and every inch was soaked and saturated with the color remover. So I didn't want to miss a spot or have it patchy or anything, because it's already going to look funky as it is from like going up all the way down. I didn't want to make it like where like, oh, you missed a whole chunk of black over here. I wanted to make sure that I was good. Now, when mixing this, wear a mask or something or a scarf or put something over your face, because mixing this is terrible and it'll choke you. But once all the powder is mixed into the developer or water or whatever you need it to, it tells you on the back if you need to mix it with water, and if it's hot, warm, and depending on the level of color that you're at, you have to use developer. I use developer because I was a level 1. I literally colored my hair a week prior, blue black, for Christmas, and had the itch that would not go away for like months, and it just grew stronger, that I was like, I need to change my hair now. And I did. So I needed 20 volume developer, and it sat on your hair for 50 minutes. Now I washed it out. I can't even say wash. I rinsed it out with hot water, and I didn't use soap or shampoo or anything when rinsing it out. I just had it with hot water, and that's it. And my hair afterwards did not get damaged. Like, you know, when you bleach your hair and the ends get really curly and you know that you killed your hair and it's like a rubber band that doesn't want to boing back, that's not what my hair is like. It did not do that at all. And I was shocked because the ends of my hair they weren't damaged. Yes, they had some split ends and a little bit of breakage, but they weren't damaged. Like, I felt like my hair was pretty healthy since I damaged my hair like that for years prior from trying to do the same thing. But I wanted it to be a little bit more drastic of a brown than what I am right now. But I wanted to take it slow this time and go to a dark brown instead of going to like a light brown like I've always wanted to do, and it's always failed me. So I decided this time around I'm going to take it slow and make it not as noticeable so that I don't hate it right away and it doesn't meet my expectations right away. If it doesn't meet my expectations right away, that I won't hate it even more. So this time I picked a color and I didn't care if my red undertones were going to show through, because 4 years ago when I tried to do this, I had high expectations. I didn't want reds. I wanted it to be like an ashy light brown, and the amount of disappointment because you can't achieve what you want is unreal. So, and the amount of products you have to buy to get rid of all the red and all the steps you have to take just to eliminate that, I didn't want that. I just was like, okay, I'm going to pick a nice dark chocolate brown, and that's the color I'm going to stick with. And I don't care if my natural red undertones show through. Like, that's kind of what a chocolate brown is. It has red undertones. So I picked a color and I stuck with it, and I love it. So after I washed it out, this is the color I used. I used Age Beautiful in the shade 3NN, and it's the darkest intense brown. And that's what I did. Now, after I did this, I washed it out, and then I used the Olaplex 3N, and then I used the Olaplex shampoo and conditioner. And then I went in, when I went to blow dry it, I used the Olaplex number 9, and then after I was done straightening it, I used Olaplex 7, which is a hair oil. So this time around, I used Olaplex, and I had that in my corner, and I've already purchased this stuff way beforehand, before I even decided to do this. Now, if you want a cheaper version of Olaplex, I know Sally's came out with Bond Bar, and they have like a whole system that reminds me of Olaplex, and I should have used them, but I'd never used their color line yet. Like, I have it because I was going to try it in black, but I never went there. This urge was like more intense that I wanted to change my hair from black to brown, blue black to brown. So that's what I did. And yeah. So anyways, after that, I waited my normal time that I needed to wait to wash my hair, and I was terrified. I'm not gonna lie. I've had really bad experiences of after coloring my hair, and then the following week I needed to take a shower and wash it. My hair would go from like this to a super faded, horrendous mix of color, where my roots would fade horribly, and then I'd have like all this patchiness because it didn't stick there, and then my ends were like faded really gross, and it just did not look cute. I was terrified that was going to happen, because after I took my hair color out, my roots were platinum blonde, and then it went to yellow to orange to like a reddish brown, and it was awful. So I was terrified. I didn't have that experience at all with this hair color. I am shocked and blown away. I am seriously like in shock. This is 3 washes later, and the fade is like, what fade? Who is fade? What is she? Like, who is that? There is no fade. This looks just as dark as it did the day I colored it. There might be a tiny bit of fade, but it's not like so drastic like I've had in the past, where I'm like, I don't even know if I'm gonna be, what shade I'm gonna be, if I want to be like at the end of all of this. Like, is there gonna be a drastic fade when I need to do my roots? Like, am I gonna be a 4N when by the time I have to do my roots, or am I still gonna be like this same shade where I'm, instead of doing 3NN, am I going to be a 3N? Like, I'm still trying to figure that out, and I'm over here like panicking. Like, I thought it was going to be so drastic that I was going to be like one shade lighter. Like, this is 3 double N, and am I going to be like a 4 double N or a 4N or a 3N? Like, what am I going to be? And I'm like, I don't know. So we'll see when I have to do that. I will do another update of like what I decided to do and how I did it. And I don't know if I'm going to do my roots and only my roots, or if I'm going to do my whole head. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. And I don't even know what the fade's going to look like by then. Like the fade, there is no fade. Like they know what they're doing. And I should have known that from the get-go, because they are like, when doing blue black, they are like fade resistant basically. And I like them because they cover the grays so well, and this hair color lasts so long. And I'm just blown away that the fade, there isn't any. And I should have known that with the blue black, because that lasts all month long. The blue might fade a little bit, but it's still dark and like intense black at the end of the month. And the blue might have washed out, but it still has its darkness. And I should have known that, not expecting it to like, I don't know. I guess I was just going off of like past fears and past experiences and how bad everything fades after the first wash. And then here I do this hair color, and for the first time, I'm so blown away that nothing happened. And this is 3 washes later, and there's only like a little bit of fade. I just see a little bit more red popping than before, and it looks a little bit more brown now than it did since day 1. But I'm not hating it. I love it. Like I'm shocked that the results are in and the results stayed the same. And now like I can just do my roots and let the rest of it fade a little bit. So if I want to do a 4N, yes, I know color does not lift color. Bleach lifts color if you want to go lighter. I get that. But when you're doing a hair color and it fades, you can do that color that it faded. And I'm only thinking it's going to fade to like a level 4 so that it can just coat it like a level. The 4N that I want to do from them is more of like a warmer brown. So like this is like, I feel like a dark chocolate, but the 4N, and I don't even know what it is. I think it's just dark brown. It's more warmer, so it has like a little bit more warmth to it. So I kind of want to do that, and I was originally going to do that instead of this color. But when going into it, my husband said, just go the next shade darker, because you might hate it if it's too brown. You want to stay closer to black right now so that it's not like a drastic change. And I totally agree with him. So that's why I went from doing what I wanted to do, the 4NN, to the 3NN, just so it wasn't so drastic of a change that it made me like hate my hair like I have in the past. Because that's how it starts. I would take the hair color out, and then I'd do like a light brown, and then it would fade dramatically the first time, and then I'd slowly go darker and darker and darker, because I could never get the result that I wanted, and I could not get the ashy brown that I wanted, and it would wash out, and then I'd hate it, and then I would end up being black again. So we'll see how long it lasts. But this is where I'm at, and I love it. And the integrity of my hair is still the same. I did cut I want to say like 1.5 inches off. I didn't want to lose the length because I'm trying to grow my hair out. But since I did something drastic and took the hair color out, I did have some breakage and some split ends on the ends. And I just figured, since I added a little bit more damage to it, it just made the ends a little bit drier. So I was like, she's got to go. So I cut at least like 1.5 inches off, and my hair feels good. I do still have breakage. I'm not going to lie. I have breakage that I didn't even know was there, but I see it now. And Olaplex is not going to fix your hair overnight. It will make it feel a little better, but it's not going to fix the breakage overnight. Like I wash my hair once a week, and it's been week 3 and I still have breakage. My hair feels better. My hair feels amazing. My hair feels like I haven't done this. Like my hair feels just as good as it did when I had black hair before I did it. I just have a little bit more breakage in the ends. I feel like I get a little tangly, but there's not a lot of dryness there. I'm going to wait a little bit longer to cut off a little bit more, but I didn't want to lose too much length. But I've been using, if you can't tell from when I showed this before, I've used a lot of this. Like this was pretty full, and I've been using this as like my holy grail. So like after I straighten my hair and I'm all done with it, I go in with this and I cake it in my hair so that it helps protect it some more. And it's just, I don't want to lie and say that like I don't have split ends. Yes, I still have split ends. I still have some breakage coming, but my hair still looks amazing and it feels good. And this time around, I have Olaplex in my corner to help me keep the integrity of my hair and keep it as healthy as possible. And until I decide to, whatever I decide to do with my hair next time in the future. So I'm just trying to, you know, keep my hair instead of chopping it and doing something, a drastic chop. But do I regret this? No, I don't. I think this so far has been the first, well, I should say my second really good experience of removing hair color. They discontinued the one that I absolutely loved, and it was Pravana's color remover. And that one was so gentle because you had to wash your hair with like a hair clarifier, like Head and Shoulders. And then unless you bought it with that specific shampoo, it came with it, if you bought that whole kit. And then you took the hair color out while your hair was wet. And then you sat under a heater, or like if you just like had to keep heat on your hair. And that is kind of tricky because if like you don't, at the time I had like this big like travel like heater that you like put your head in. So if like you're doing like curls or whatever, all that stuff, you could just sit under it for however long you needed to and then wash it out. And then you could color your hair right after, but you could do it as many times as you needed to and it didn't damage your hair. And I loved it, and they discontinued it. But I've done other ones in the past and they've all killed my hair. But this one is the best one that I've tried since Pravana got discontinued. So do I regret this? No. This has kind of been like the best experience so far that I've had with color, taking the hair color out. I have no complaints about it. I mean, I wish it was damage free, but it doesn't matter what you do, you're gonna have damage no matter what. Even if like even if I decide to color my whole entire head, I'm gonna have a little bit more damage on the ends and whatnot. But I was gonna say something. But overall, this has been like the best experience of removing a hair color, and I'm glad I stuck with that decision to stay in the dark brown family so that I didn't hate it going into it. And then, like I said, if it did fade and it was like an ugly fade, that it was still dark enough that it wouldn't have been like terrible. But like I said, I was terrified trying to wash it out and I had no clue what to expect. But I'm glad that everything worked out the way it did, and it is amazing. And I can't wait to see what happens and what it looks like 3 weeks from now. And I will update on Instagram and on here just to kind of like, I'll do a more in-depth of like, if I decided to change from like back to my drugstore shampoo, and if I felt like Olaplex is helping a lot, which I know they will, but what I decided to do, if I decided to color just my roots or my whole entire head, I will update all of that. But I just kind of wanted to give you guys like an update, and I hope this helps someone who, if they decide to do this, like, I highly recommend doing this combination. If you're going to remove your hair color, and it doesn't matter, they have a whole range from blacks to blondes and everything in between. I highly recommend using Age Beautiful so it doesn't have such a nasty, drastic, like, fade. And like that was one thing I was terrified about, because like I said, I removed my color, and out of everything in the past, I've always had a really bad outcome the next hair wash, and it was always terrible. So this time around, it went so smooth, and I'm happy with every single decision I made based on this. From the color remover to how I did it to washing it out to the hair color, like everything just went so smoothly, and I haven't had a hiccup yet. The only hiccup I had was just more like damage and, or not damage, like, well, I guess it's damage, breakage than I expected, because I didn't have a lot of breakage before. But now it's just coming out a little bit more on the ends and stuff. And it's nothing crazy. Like, I know it's just like an inch every single time, or like even smaller pieces are coming off. But, you know, it's going to happen no matter what. If I decided to go blonde, like, I would have breakage. If I decided to stay black, I would have breakage. I've already had some happening before I even decided to do this. So, yeah, I think that's all my thoughts on everything that I would want to know going into coloring my hair. So I hope this helps someone out there, or one of you guys, or any of my subscribers and followers. But yeah, I will do like an update on this color for the fade on Instagram, and like maybe a couple weeks from now, I will do more of an in-depth on YouTube here and give you guys like all the tea on if I added new products or took a product away, or what I decided to do color wise, if I did roots, or I feel like I just repeated this like all over again, or root to tip, like my whole head. But I will definitely let you guys know, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.